On today's episode of the difference between a swap and a build, yeah, we're just gonna look at the difference at both of the bikes for a moment. Let's see if anybody notices it. Well, that one's standing up straight because I got the kickstand on a brick. This one is just standing up as straight as possible on the stock kickstand. That's not the stock kickstand for that one, actually. It's actually for a different bike, but I digress. So just take a look at it. Seeing any differences? That's just the 250 swap. That one's 304 valve with a whole bunch of extra shit. I literally just put those 14s on it. That's the major difference here outside of the engine. So today what I'm going to be doing is some gearing. Now I actually have to pull this bike out because it has the sprocket on it that I need. Now because I ended up going up to the 14s, right? I ended up losing torque. So currently my gearing is 1730, but I was on a 12 setup, like, you know, stock wheel setup. As soon as I put the 14s on, yeah, when I go to take off, it takes me a little bit longer than it did before, which realistically, the way my gearing was set up, it's tall enough to where I should be able to reach the speed that I'm trying to reach, but still have enough torque. Now, it is torquey in the power band, like anything over 3-4 grand. Like I can give it some throttle and it just push, like it goes. It's not like I took away too much torque. But yeah, I do want to add some more torque back into the setup. Now, with that being said, on this bike, I have the gearing set at 1632 with the super light. So both of these bikes are running super light sprockets. So I want to go from the 30 super light to the 32 super light on this one. Now, with that being said, I was looking at it like that's actually going to push my wheel in some because the sprocket is bigger, right? Which is actually a good thing because right now I actually do have some slack that's accumulating in my chain anyway. The chain is starting to stretch. Now, I was actually going to tension it, but the way the tensioner is on this, there's actually like a little ball that actually locks the tensioner into place on the notches. Now, I didn't want it to be where I was somewhere in the middle and it didn't lock. So basically what happens right now is if I give it some throttle, I hear the chain slap. Cool. I'm gonna say I'm not skipping teeth. It's just the chain slapping when I'm going. But yeah, basically I'm gonna have to roll it in to put the bigger sprocket on, which should actually close this gap. So yeah, I'm not too mad at that. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna just jump straight in and do what I gotta do because I got some other things I want to do to this too. Today, I actually want to try tuning it, see what I come up with. I am noticing the color changing in the oil filter, so that's actually a good thing. I'm assuming that the synthetic is actually flowing through better than the regular was. I'm happy about that. Solid mounted shifter, that's actually been better. Only thing is, I don't know why it does accumulate some slack in it, especially when I got it tight. So I'm gonna have to look into that. But I mean, it's definitely way better than having a linkage. Definitely way better. Hydraulic clutch is way better too. I still want to figure it out because right now, basically, I'm like right here. Yeah, it's basically like right here. I would prefer it to be a little bit out some. Maybe like right here. But yeah, I'm like out here when it starts to engage. So yeah. I mean, it's very crisp though. That, and I'm actually able to just into neutral. Okay, so that's a good thing. But yeah, let me jump in, just get straight to work. Oh wait, actually there is a few things that I actually wanted to talk about as well before I actually jumped into doing the gearing. So far with the 14s, I've noticed that I'm actually more stable, right? As far as the speed, it seems to be accurate on the speedometer now. What else was it? It's a few just fit and finish things, like when I bottom this fork out, the bottom seal actually gets caught down here. So I have to actually figure out how I'm gonna, do this. And this side is over here just self-clearancing. It's a little ashy, but yeah, this side is self-clearancing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to roll it a little bit forward. At least this one's not catching though, so I'm good there. What else was it? So by the time y'all see this video, I've already posted a riding video, at least one, maybe two, at least one. Now, with that being said, the system that I'm using, I actually am pretty sure that I blew out the cameras just based on how it's reacting. So let me actually just show you this real quick. Just the vibrations, I'm assuming, killed the cameras. And it keep resetting. See, look, all my cameras are plugged up. Every single one of them are plugged up, but nothing's popping up. So yeah, I'm actually gonna send this one back, and I'm actually gonna buy a different one. Now, admittedly, I liked it for what it was when it worked, but I don't know if I can honestly recommend this one. I originally bought it because it had 3 cameras on it. So I got the camera right here mounted. I got the one under here, right? So that's the camera that you're seeing when you're looking at my tire. And then I got this one right here, which keeps bottoming out on the fender. So realistically, the camera's aiming up here. So I'm actually going to end up switching to one that only has 2 cameras. I'm going to keep the mount up here, so then that way it can still point forward and I can still have the rear camera, and then eliminate that one from doing whatever the hell it's doing. And it's gonna be a different one. Hopefully it actually comes with more features. That's really what I'm looking for. Something that has like the GPS speed on it and all that. So yeah, I'm gonna put a little bit more money into the next one that I get. Just gotta return this one first, because I'm gonna just say it's not worth it. It's not worth it. And so far, I've only put on about 40 miles on them. 37 miles, honestly, because I put them on at 11:44. So yeah, I'm still putting test miles on them. Mainly because I'm actually getting ready to buy the materials so I could prep, so I could paint these wheels. I already got the paint in. I just don't have the prep materials. So once I get that in, and I'm actually waiting on a few parts still for certain things, and yeah, I'm doing things. But yeah, let me start doing the fucking gearing. All right, so let me just show y'all real quick. Now, I'm in the process of taking off the sprocket because I'm gonna swap sprockets. I'm gonna put the 30 on this bike because I'm honestly considering just slapping another one of these on or rebuilding this engine. If I do that, I'm actually gonna want taller gearing because that's what I want to get to it. Well, that's what I got to do to achieve a higher top speed on the 250. It's very torquey, and I'm at 1632 right now. So with that being said, let me just show you this. So I literally just changed these cush drives, which were the original ones off of that bike, which only had 10 miles on it when I bought it. So I took those off and I ended up going with the direct drive with the whole sprocket and everything. So yeah, these cush drives didn't have that many miles on them when I put it on here, but the 250, and I only put maybe like up to 50 miles on the 250 before I blew it. Yeah, you see how much play is in the wheel before it actually engages? Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I just wanted to show y'all that real quick. Now that's actually why I would recommend the direct drive over the Cush, because I have not had to service that hub since I've bought it, and I've actually put maybe like 3,000 miles on this bike with the 125s that I had on it. I haven't put the 190, well, I haven't put any miles on the 190 yet, but yeah, I had that hub on that bike for I don't even know how long before I swapped this one. But yeah, that's why I recommend the direct drives over the Cush setups. Or even if you want to upgrade the Cush, I still recommend the direct drive. Only thing you have to do with the direct drive is I'll actually show you when I take it off. But it's just O-rings that need to be replaced at some point. Alright, so now that I got both the sprockets off of both bikes, I actually want to talk about gearing for a second. So let me actually just show you. This is how I have to have the bike standing. At least this one. I got the 2 bricks on this side because the weight hangs to the left. Anyway, gearing. What we have here is a Superlight 30 sprocket with Superlight RS7 30 428 sprocket, Superlight RS7 32 428. Right here is a stock, well actually this is the stock sprocket off of my little monster, but what I did was these come with like a cage that's around it, which the hub, the sprocket that I have on here has it. So realistically, there's those 4 things that I ended up drilling them out, which are the outer holes. So that's these 4 right here. And then I ended up drilling out some more holes. I was actually gonna do 2 more over here, but I figured I was cool with that. I did that to actually lighten it up. And realistically, I was able to get up to 72 miles per hour with this setup. Now, with that being said, then I got the stock KP Mini 36 428 sprocket. Now, I'm about to just jump up from the 30 to the 32. I should actually start ordering me some odd sprockets, because all I have is evens. I want to actually start from maybe 29 all the way up to maybe the 37, just so I could have a variety of sprockets so I could test on all my bikes, because they all run the same goddamn sprockets and everything. Now, with that being said, like I said, 32 on this one, 30 on this one. Those 2 can go back. And I wanted to get into one more thing while I'm here. So because I'm gonna have to roll the wheel forward, what I'm gonna have to do is, you see that hole right there? If I'm remembering correct, that is a, what, 2.5, or is that the 2 or 3? 3. So that is a 3 Allen. You get in there, you loosen that up, and then which way? You'll be able to unroll that. You also have to adjust this too. So loosen that up, loosen the bottom, and then you can roll it. This one's gonna be an 8 Allen. Just because my plate is here, it's not even in the way. I could just bend it like that, honestly. But that's an 8 Allen right there. The bottom one, that's a 3. Loosen that, loosen that. You get a tool with it. Don't lose this. Do not lose this. You only get one. And I don't think you can just buy this. I think you would have to buy a whole another kit to get another one of these tools. I don't know for sure, but I know I'm not going to lose it. But yeah, you use this. You put it right in those 2 holes, and then you rotate it. Just that simple to tension it. Now, when you're servicing it, you don't have to retension it. Only thing you do is just pull the axle out, versus with this style where you have to actually readjust and everything, because you have to actually crack everything loose. Cool. I'm running the Hyper Hub, the race hub, the direct drive hub. It's the one that you don't need to replace the Cush drives on it, because The spline on the wheel actually sits right in there. You see that? So it's simple enough. Only thing you have to do is replace these O-rings. I have probably put around 4,000 miles on this hub without replacing O-rings yet. And as you can see, there's still some life on them. Still some life on them. Right? So give it about another 1,000 before I actually end up changing them out. That one looks a little flat if anything, but the other one still got some meat to them. But yeah, that's it. It's a direct drive hub. I highly recommend this over the Cush drive because the Cush drive fucking sucks, honestly, especially the stock ones. And then if you replace it with the Grom stock, you still got to worry about that mushiness. You get a direct go. As soon as you give it throttle, it goes. So just keep that in mind, all right? Highly recommend one of these Grom Fathers. Oh, and actually, one more thing while I'm here. So with the 14s, just so y'all see, this is the stock KP Mini spacer on the hub side. This isn't the stock spacer, but it's the same width as a stock spacer on a KP. And then I had to run this spacer on the inside and a fucking axle nut that I drilled out so an axle can fit through on the opposite side. So this is in between here and here. That sits in between here and here. That's it though. This setup, literally how I got it, is running the stock spacers. So the only difference is just the spacing on the actual bracket itself. I ended up making my own holder. That's what this extra nut coming through here is. Ended up having to make a holder going through my extension. Now the thing about that is, because of how I have it, I personally wouldn't feel comfortable with moving it in or out anymore, only because that would mean I would have to drill a whole nother hole in there, which is eliminating structural rigidity. Like I mentioned before, my whole thing with this whole build is structural rigidity. I don't want to eliminate that for aesthetics. So with that being said, ended up doing that just so then that way that's has a pin that's holding it in place, so it's extra strong. It's not like it's just open or anything like that. The length that I have it at is in the middle hole. So there's a hole right here, which would be the furthest hole if you push it out. And then there's a hole right here, which would be the closest hole if you push it in. I'm right in the middle. And I actually like the length that it's at. Like I said, once I tension this, it should roll the wheel in a little bit more. So then that way it should come into the fender a little bit more. I don't want to have it all the way in, but I would like it to look like it's stock. That's the whole point of everything that I'm doing to my bike. I'm trying to make it look as OEM plus as possible. Another thing that I'm actually considering doing is maybe rotating my muffler that way, or cutting it and just having it coming straight back, or a little bit further in. I don't know. I got a couple options, but if I do that, I'm gonna have to take it to get rewelded anyway. But then I'm gotta take it to go get the O2 bung on anyway. So it's a couple things regardless. Another thing I wanted to mention about that, if I do that, I would want the spring mounts located in a different area, only because of things like this. So I would want them on the, like on an angle, maybe forward, not all the way in the middle, but maybe like somewhere over here, so it doesn't bottom out. And realistically, on the 14s, I haven't bottomed out on them, so that's a good thing. All right, so put my axle sliders on. I got chain tension right now is actually super tight because it's still stretching, and if I would have went back to the notch back here, it would have been too much slack. So It just is what it is. I'm gonna allow the chain to do some more stretching. What was I gonna say? I ended up changing from the spools back here to on here, which realistically I'm gonna end up getting another set of these just so I could change the cup up front. Get those, and then yeah, I'll have spools up front and rear. Well, up front and rear. As far as the whole setup goes back here, what I'm learning about this setup is it's gonna be easier for me to take the caliper off whenever I'm gonna do anything. Start by taking that off and end by putting it back on. Like, that's the last step once everything is bolted on, because it just makes things so much easier. One thing I'm gonna have to check now is suspension travel as far as with the brake hose, because at least how it was before, it went over the axle. So now I just have to sit on it just to see how it's gonna actually move. What else was it? Actually, yeah, that's it. About to bounce on this one. Oh, so for this one I did have to change the adjusters because the stock ones, well, the original ones for that, they were bent. So yeah, as you can see, previous owner kind of like botched it, so it is what it is. Had to change those. Did that. About to throw that sprocket back on, throw that in there, and I could actually play around with the tune on this one. I think that's what I'm about to jump and do. I was just curious if I would be able to run the CRF 230 exhaust on this bike with the plastics, right? So instead of me taking off the exhaust and trying to put it on this bike, it was easier for me to take off the triangle, because I'm actually about to tune this anyway, so the triangle had to come off, and try it on this bike. But the only difference is the actual rear sets. So my foot placement, I'm looking at it like on this bike, my foot is actually a little bit closer forward than the passenger pad, right? Cool. So as I'm sitting on the bike, my leg is actually touching it. So if I wanted to run the plastics, which I do, I can't, not with this exhaust. So I would be able to run it on this bike without the triangle, but that's because I'm not running the triangle, and the exhaust can get tucked in some more. But with the triangle, and to have it not touching anything, it will be somewhere like this, maybe cut off the end, but it will be out, which would probably hurt. Now what I probably could try to do is see if I can get it I don't even know if I'd be able to do that, because the brake is over there. Yeah, the brake is over there. I have to move the brake line from back here. But yeah, realistically, unfortunately, wouldn't be able to run this with the plastic. It is what it is. Kind of messed my plastic up trying to test it, but whatever, I don't care. I gotta figure out what well, when I'm gonna end up painting the bike anyway. So yeah, it just is what it is. So with the CRF 230 exhaust on the 250, honestly, what I'm thinking about doing is cutting it straight right here, so then that way the muffler sits in this area, and I'll end up using one of my L brackets, running it back here behind the plastic between the bolt and the frame, and yeah, have that L right there, so then that way basically I got that tucked all the way in. I'm gonna probably end up cutting this off, unless I can maybe use it on the inside part. Trying to rotate it. Unless I can maybe use it to like, I don't know. If I can maybe make a L or use another bracket over here, maybe I'll just use this one. Maybe. Actually, no, because I'm gonna want the muffler solid mounted. So yeah, I don't know. I got a couple options, but yeah, realistically, I'm thinking about cutting it straight right here. Once I cut it, then I could actually see how exactly I'm gonna end up putting it But yeah, I think that's gonna end up being the plan with this. Muffler gonna end up basically in this area. Yeah, I like that. I like that. All right. Yeah, and I still got room to come up, come out, whatever. So instead of tuning this one, I opted on doing the exhaust on this one. Now what I ended up doing was the joint pipe. The link pipe. I ended up cutting it flush, so then that way I could get the exhaust mounted over here. I did a little test seat because I can't even fucking ride the shit or start it. My foot isn't, well, my leg isn't on it. I might want to actually put some heat wrap on it because it's probably like this much of a gap with my leg as close as possible. Like if I'm tucked in, it's probably like this close. So yeah, I might want to put some heat wrap on that and yeah, go from there. But I did ended up doing 2 mounts for it back here. So this one is actually mounted off of the brake master cylinder reservoir tab. So where that's located is mounted there. I'm gonna have to actually just cut this mount off, the excess, and the muffler itself, I got that mounted off of the plastic. So I'm gonna have to cut that back there. But I mean, shit, I want to hear this shit start, but I can't. It is what it is. I'll deal with this when the time comes. Over here just working on shit. Got 5 bikes out right now. 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, I think that's it for today. For me, I'm gonna have to fuck around and come out tomorrow, tune that. I'm good with this. I'm gonna have to walk this one back to the other garage tonight. But I can ride this motherfucker. I gotta see what the gearing is feeling like though. So I'm gonna end up going on a little test ride after I walk that one. Just to see. I'm on 1732 now. 1732. Still looking at this exhaust, like, do I wanna rotate it in? Do I wanna maybe cut it and have it going straight back? I don't know. I'm still thinking. But yeah, with that being said, I gotta go inside and post the video, so I'll see y'all in the fucking next one.
I feel like eventually I'm gonna have to cut it. Where's my phone?
When you buy a Benelli 302S for dirt cheap, this is what you get. This is what you get.